Throughout the Fraser Valley area and region, we focus a lot of our work in the Little Campbell River watershed, focusing on water health and quality and the species that inhabit it. This watershed has undergone significant increases in development and different changes in land structure and use, which has caused an impact on our water systems and the species that rely on it. This system is significant because it does support a lot of different salmonid species, along with other species at risk. Because of our long-term efforts here in the Little Campbell River watershed, we are able to notice and track different changes in our system, so looking at water quality over time, but also presence and absence of species. One of our interns came across an unknown species at the time in one of our ponds and later was identified as the Salish sucker, which was thought to have been extirpated from this watershed.
I was an intern at Arasha in 2011, and I was doing a conservation science internship. And my project was the pond, and I was figuring out every species, well, trying to catch every species that was living in the pond. So we had these traps that I would throw in 3 different locations around the pond. I would collect the things at the end of every day and remove the invasive species and put the native species back. On the last day of my internship, I came down to the pond, pulled out the trap, and I was like, something is off. The trap is only this big and there's a fish in it that's about this big. I was a bit confused because I had no idea what it was. So we put him in a bucket and ran up the hill. We brought it up and put it in a fish tank. People are getting more and more excited. We took photos of it and measured it and weighed it and everything, and then put it into the Little Campbell River where it should be. I went about my day and went home. Later on, they were like, Audrey, it was a Salish sucker, and we're going to start a huge research project now on this. So it was exciting to find something that really spurred on new projects and also helped with the importance of the watershed. Since that time, we've been able to continually go out and survey for this fish and try to judge what the population size is, identify critical habitat like where they're spawning, and help to make recommendations on how we can further protect and possibly enhance this population in the watershed. We're experiencing a lot of biodiversity decline and loss in the world, and especially here in the Fraser Valley as well. There are all of these different links in our ecosystems between the plants, the animals, and the soil that create ecosystem function and services. And when you take one piece of that away, you break part of those links. The Salish sucker is threatened due to changes in landscape. We're looking at a lot of declines in our terrestrial forests, and especially our riparian areas around our rivers. And because we're losing those riparian structures, there is a change in the water quality. Things like temperature and dissolved oxygen declines in the water, and this has an impact on this fish and causes decline in their species and their usable habitat. So north of us here we have an area of forest that was taken down and is becoming more of an industrial park, and lots of other shops and businesses are starting to come into that area. Through that forest there was different tributaries that connect with the main stem of the Little Campbell River, and they were pushed over to make room for this industrial park coming in. This area did have a lot of work done on it to make it ecologically functional. So there's lots of planting and different structures put into the watercourseways to help promote fish to return to that area and to use it. In 2019, there were people starting to observe different fish using this stream. So we went and did our own survey, and we found that the Salish sucker has actually started to use this area once again. And we hope to do further research and studies to see if they are spawning and if they are thriving, or if this is poor habitat that they are just being pushed into. We've been doing trapping exercises throughout the watershed to try to identify different areas where we are seeing this fish. We've also been identifying their spawning habitat, so where they are laying their egg masses and where the young are rearing.
And now we are transitioning and we want to try to get a population estimate for the entire watershed. So now that we know some of the hot spots where the species are, we can cover more area and try to create that estimate. And by doing this, we'll be able to track the population better from year to year to see if it is stable or if it is declining. Because we work in this Little Campbell River watershed and all of our efforts are focused on this one place, we are able to have a larger impact.
The next time I saw a Salish sucker was, I think, in 2016. Joel Satori came from National Geographic to photograph species for his photo art collection. And they had found one, and I helped him take the photos that were part of the collection. It's definitely been an adventure, and I'm excited to see what other projects get spun off of this, and that we're finding more and more suckers is so exciting, and I'm thankful that I was a part of it.